It's that glitchy time of the week where we throw our glitchy chairs at some glitchy games for your enjoyment. This week we are reviewing Teleglitch Die More Edition, and this you can find that at diemore.teleglitch.com, and it's from Paradox Interactive. You can grab it on Steam for $12, and basically it's a roguelike shoot 'em up pixel mayhem blob thingamabwhatsit that you run and run and run and run and run. And again, if you are new to the show, we grade everything on a 4-chair metric based on 4 categories. So then cue the chair explanation.
The chair explanation.
Now, 1 chair is our lowest score. It means that it's garbage, it's crap. Don't even look at it. 2 chairs means that it's adequate. Middle of the road. Might float your boat, might not. That's really up to your personal preference. 3 means check it out. It's good, we like it. May not be 100%, but we feel it's worth it. And 4 is just...
I'm throwing money at the screen.
Quit throwing money at the screen and explain the categories.
Yes, our categories of doom are makes with the working, does it run well, how much effort does it take to actually get it working, shiny and sounds, how does it look, how does it sound, does it make your eyes water or does it make your ears vomit, controls, how does it control, if you mash your face in the keyboard, does stuff actually happen, and finally, our last but not least, and only subjective category, fun? Did we enjoy it? Now,
does it get
this is very important. This is very important because we are 3 very different people with 3 very different tastes on 3 completely different sets of hardware, running 2 different operating systems. We got Ubuntu 12.04 32-bit and Fedora 18, Fedora 19 derivatives, and so on and so forth. So... cutting over to our first category, Ven, does this glitchy game work not so glitchily?
Well, to be fair with the developer, they did make a special exception. Normally, they wrote back to us, they said, we only give 1 key, review key, out per outlet, but we're going to make a special exception for you guys, and...
Special.
That's a special exception of pain. Because, well, I don't know. Let's just take a quick look at this
peek.
business. Now, does it work? I'm so trying to put off saying what I have to say about the box.
I know, it's wonderful watching you cringe and stall. You're stalling, man. You're like some sort of stall man.
Quiet, you. Here's the dice. Out of the box, under Steam. How this got green light. Whew. That whooshing noise. Mach 12 over my personal brain organ. It ran out of the box on an Ubuntu 12.04 32-bit NVIDIA powered system. So, cutting to J-Man.
I see what you did there with your little fingery things. I got one for you, too. Actually, I got one at the store. They had a buy one, get one free, so you can have both of them. But anyways, on the various Fedoras I run on Intel, AMD, and NVIDIA hardware, this thing basically ran right out of the box. So, 4 chairs.
4 chairs, so that's going to be 2 full chairs.
2 4 chairs.
Not
what
4
about
chairs.
Pedro? Is it going to be 3 4 chairs, Pedro?
It might be, because on Corora 19, 32-bit, with the PAE kernel on an AMD graphics chip, it ran right out of the box.
I like how you struggled to call it a chip. You're like, well, technically, at the end of the day, it is silicon.
It's a chip.
It's the same way that a Dorito is a chip.
But yeah, no problems here. 4 chairs.
4 chairs.
All right.
J-Man, so that wraps us up for a solid 4, right?
Yeah, it works out of the box. This is where a lot of games score really, really high, because it's not too hard to actually get 4 chairs in this category.
Makes for the working. Well, sometimes...
If it runs when I start it, you get a 4 chairs. That's basically it.
But continuing
It's not-
on to the shiny and
Yes.
sounds.
Shiny and sounds.
Maybe we
Where
should play a little
This
bit
is
of
this is
sound.
retro pixely, so I have an inkling of where this is going. Then
It's really pixely.
how pixely is it, Ben?
I mean, you know, if it was that pixely and I had to pick between, you know, two people from Portugal and Nori and Pedro were standing next to each other, I might shag the wrong person.
You mean Nori?
You know what I'm saying, huh? That's how pixely it is, but we are talking about shiny and sounds. Let's go ahead and cut that business back down to naught. Can't give it 0, right? Right?
No, you can't really.
Okay. Fair enough. It looks worse than the original Wolfenstein. Go ahead.
No.
Come on,
No.
Jodin. Wolfenstein. All right, I'll just do my own thing. Sounds. I ended up throwing some Slayer on because the Atari retro bullshit got incredibly old. I'm not hating on the game. I'm hating on how it looks and how it sounds. So, yeah, one chair. Now, watch this magic band redeem the entire game as a whole.
Not really. I mean, yeah, the pixel thing was an aesthetic choice, and it does it all right. Not the best I've seen. By far not the worst, but certainly nothing to write home about. The one visual thing I really liked about this game, though, was the line of sight mechanic. But other than that, it was just a big blotchy mess. But yeah, I as for the soundtrack, I more or less tuned it out. That's the thing. If I don't like it, I'll just not pay attention to it. So I'll give this guy 2 chairs. It did an all right job, but nothing spectacular. P-Man.
Okay. For my score, when I do say my score, keep in mind that graphics, they got a 0. I'm not giving out chairs for graphics on this category because it's full metal pixel. You've seen it once, you've
What do you
seen it
mean?
1,000 times.
HD pixels. You can even do it in 1080p.
Yeah,
1080p
and if you have one of
pixel.
those 4K TVs, you can do it on that too. It's still full metal pixel. But, to throw a wrench in this well-oiled machine, the one redeeming thing about this game are the sounds. The guns sound like guns. There is no pew pew pew. There's actually and
I
all
hate
of
to
that.
break this
It
to you, but if the
sounds-
guns actually went pew pew pew,
No,
I
actually,
would have
the
given it
guns
a
did
better
not.
score.
The guns did
If
not
it-
go pew pew pew. They actually
If
sounded
they
like
make the
guns.
curly noise, they go whoop, 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 whoop.
And the eerie type of atmosphere of an abandoned space station that the subtle background noise creates. It's
How the fuck did you
impressive.
take that out of this game?
Because it is there. You just have to pay
it
attention.
started out with a 8-bit version of Doom 3, and I was like, oh yeah, that story looks good.
Yeah,
Let's use it.
Yeah, that's the intro, but in the actual game, there's very subtle background noises like clanging
Shiny and
metal.
sounds. How many chairs, if you had to summarize?
Yeah, so to cut this short, 0 chairs for graphics, but sounds, great job, you guys.
You
2
wanna-
chairs.
Makes
You earned
sweet
it.
manatee love to those sounds.
Oh yeah.
Right in
and
the pussy.
that'll average out to 1 chair for the shiny and sounds category. And now here's where things get a little weird. The control section. Then
Can't hate on the controls, man. Absolutely can't. That's how the chairs work when we do play these games. I actually have to give it 3 chairs for this because it controls surprisingly well, and I couldn't give it 4 chairs because guess what? No matter how good your controls are, that blob, when you get gang raped, you can control that all you want. You're still getting gang raped. You can't really shoot at something when it's just a blob of gang rape in front of you. So, at the end of the day...
So what 2 words would you use to describe this?
3 chairs.
Aw.
Boom!
Well, way to throw... Well, fuck you. Anyways. So the controls were fine, responsive enough. The one thing I really had issue, though, was the aiming mechanic. Basically involved flailing your mouse around a lot as you get surrounded by these guys and go, "Wah!" Your cursor goes flying, and you end up not hitting anything because, they keep moving. So I'm going to give this 2 chairs. Again, nothing to write home about. It's adequate. So there you go. 2 chairs.
Yeah.
P-Man.
And you guys already touched on, the one reason that I probably won't give this the perfect score in the controls. Like Ben said, It controls surprisingly well. It's very, very immersive.
I mean, come on. If you got a big list of things not to fuck up.
Yeah, they did it right. For the type of game that it is, the controls work great. Except when you have to change weapons mid-combat. Then it gets especially clusterfucky.
You mean the scroll wheel? It looks like something I wrote in QBasic in 1996.
It makes things even more clusterfucky than they already are, and this is one of those really action-heavy roguelike games.
Chat room, remind us, clusterfucky. That might be a show title.
Clusterfuckish. Clusterfuckaloo.
So, for me, it gets 3 chairs.
3
Just
chairs.
because of that.
All right. So it looks like my score is going to knock down the metric. This averages out to 2 chairs total for the controls category.
Yep.
And finally, our last
2
subjective
chairs,
category.
and that category was shiny and... Well, no,
No.
we're in controls.
Those controls.
No, it's control.
Keep up,
Yeah.
man. Seriously.
Oh, yeah, no worries.
So then, I guess it really comes down to was this game fun?
Get the fun.
Well, in order to understand the fun, you have to know his 3-legged brother.
Yeah. Who's that?
It doesn't exist because this game was not fun. Now, I really, genuinely wanted to dislike this game, but at the end of the day, I did.
Shock and awe.
Honestly, I would have given it 2 chairs, but, the price... I mean, seriously, 13 quid for this. I would actually hunt the developer down at that price if I played this and paid that much. So I can't give it 2 chairs. I gotta give it 1 chair. For the fun, our subjective category. You, Master Sving.
I found myself getting pretty fed up with this game fairly early on. I had to come back to it a few times. And then I'm just like, yeah.
No, I think Chatroom does need to understand that we've all played this game months and months back. This is not new to us.
Nah. It's just
A rehash.
I am not that big a fan of this game. There are bits and pieces about it that I like, but altogether...
Was there anything you could masturbate to?
Well, you could masturbate to anything. It just takes a while. But in this case, I'm going to give this 1 chair because this does not tickle my pickle at all. And really, this game should be worth $5, not 13.
That's one thing I'm kind of not even curious about. It would have completely skewed my opinion if it was $1.99.
Oh yeah, if it were like a $3 game, maybe I would have reconsidered. But this is $10. This is $12. This is what you pay for lunch every day.
Yeah.
This is more than what you pay for Half-Life 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Half-Life 2 is one of the few games in history to get 100% on a lot of websites.
Give it to us, people.
But yeah, okay. Once again, the wrench falls out of my hands and into this very well-oiled machine because it was fun. I liked the game. I do. It's Full Metal Pixel. It's
No,
everything
I actually
didn't want to like
understand that
about
there's a lot of pain going on in Portugal, but compared to what? Tooth
It's-
extraction.
No, okay. Let's see.
Getting a kidney stone fished out of your
Oh,
urethra
so
with
apparently
fiberglass.
it's ripped off the lightning gun from Quake.
Quake, Painkiller. There's a couple of games, but yeah, it was fun. It was stupidly fun, and as soon as I got to like level 7 of the abandoned space station, it got stupidly fun. Gah! And I'm probably going to keep playing this game. So thanks, Paradox.
Wait a minute.
Uh,
Does this game have achievements?
Okay, it's a roguelike top-down shooter thing.
Pedro,
and
answer the question. That's all I
What's it-
needed to hear.
It's like a priest on the Bill
Yeah.
Maher show.
Yeah, that's just like, boom, all right. It's got achievements. He's going to like it because he wants
Yeah.
to get them all. Because he's a Pokemon.
Sort of. Okay.
I'm a Pokemon
in its
master.
roguelike top-down shooter thing, it shines above the rest of its kind, and the only reason I can't give it 4 chairs, it's because no one's going to pay $12.99 for this.
Oh, they will, but they'll just be really pissed off.
Yeah, and okay, $5, sure. 2.5. You
You're
guys got
Pedro,
yourself
even
a gold
£5. I was like, yeah, 6, but I spent damn near 20 quid on this.
Yeah, I do.
9.
It doesn't make any sense. No Full Metal Pixel game justifies a price above $10. Sorry.
$10 is kind of stretching it. It has to be like a damn good
Yeah.
pixel
So,
game.
P-Man, to wrap this up, chairs.
3 chairs.
Three
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 chairs.
chairs. So that'll average out to one big
We're not
battle
on the
chair
final.
for- Yes, the final score, if we're going to total that up.
Bam.
It is 4 chairs. 1 chair, 2 chairs, and 1 chair. Brings us to a grand total of 2 chairs.
2 chairs. Now, that's
So,
is the
that
correlation
is
of the
a-
game, and that falls in our categories of all that fun bit, but chair explanation, give it to him again,
Yes.
J-Man.
not sure if want. This might be something you'll enjoy. This, like Pedro, this might be something that
And
you'll
I think this one
despise,
is
like myself and Ben.
barely eking out the 2 chairs. This is not...
Yeah, barely eking out.
Yeah,
2 chairs.
it's
Really,
really
for
nailing the 2
$13.
chairs.
For $13, this should be a 1 chair game.
Yeah.
But the chairs have spoken. So 2 chairs. Any final words, Ben, Pedro?
Can I give the game back?
No. Pedro?
Technically, you could probably ask Valve to remove it from your account and add it as a Steam present so you can give it to someone else.
So I
Well-
think basically what we're saying is we have 3 games that, well, 3 copies of one game that we're more than willing to give away.
No, I'm
Yes.
keeping mine. I'm
Fine,
keeping
we had
mine.
2 copies of the game that we're more than willing to give away.
I'll even
But-
buy a copy just to show good faith. We'll give 3 of those away next week.
Indeed. But that about wraps it up for our review section. The chairs have been thrown. They've landed in their various spots.